This is the Eve outdoor camera, a camera I actually didn't think I was going to like, but I do. Today, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you need to know about it before you decide to buy it. And at a bonus, I'm going to show you how I got the wired switch on the inside, controlled the light, but not the camera, so no one can accidentally turn it off. Let's jump into the video. Now, the very first thing that you're gonna need to know is about the install. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably put this about a 7 for the average homeowner. I am pretty handy and I've done a lot of lights like this or cameras like this, both the inside and outside my house, and by far this has been the most difficult one. I do want to let you know that if you have an electrical box that you want to mount this to, the mounting plate that comes with this will not line up with that mounting box more than likely. You will need to purchase some type of adapter crossbar, but depending on your situation, you might have to jerry rig something to make it fit perfectly. If you have like a siding mounting block, then you won't have to, but you still might want to secure this to the house rather than just the block itself, so you might have to jerry rig something to make it work safely. Now, that's not the difficult part that I had with this, because I'm going to be putting this on a mounting block. The most difficult part of this install was that once you had everything up and you had to put the wires together, you only had about ½ an inch to work with. Depending on how long your wires are, you might need to extend those, and then you have to get your fingers into this little spot about ½ an inch or so to really work, and it's a really tight fit to get your fingers in there. I'm a bigger guy with bigger fingers, and it was a little difficult and a little how should I say this, my fingers were aching afterwards because it took so long to get all these wires together, where normally that's one of the easiest parts, but because you're working in a really confined spot, it makes it a little bit more difficult. I eventually got the wires together and it all turned out nice, but you might have to hire an electrician or a handyman to help you jerry rig this and get it all together. So just FYI that it's a little bit more difficult than others. The second thing that you're going to want to know about is about the motion sensor. Unlike some other outdoor cameras that have pixel-based motion sensors, this one is infrared. Thus, it's going to give you a lot less false alerts, and within HomeKit, you can set up automations based off of motion. But understand, this is different than notifications within HomeKit and the AI that's looking for people, animals, vehicles, and packages. That's all separate. This individual motion sensor can trigger the floodlight to come on, or within HomeKit you can actually automate it to do other things within your smart home. Now, within the Eve app, you can adjust the sensitivity. It does have a 100-degree field of vision for the motion sensor, where the camera is 157 degrees field of vision. So comparing to some other outdoor cameras that I've tested before, this actually has a nice wide range of field of vision for the camera and a more narrow range for the motion sensor. You can also adjust the sensitivity and duration of the motion sensor inside the Eve app, but understand that this is recommended to be mounted about 8 to 9 feet off the ground, and if you do mount the camera higher up, you might get different results for the motion sensor and also notifications for the packages and animals alerts within HomeKit, just a FYI. So if you can mount this a little bit lower, you'll get better results. And the third thing that you want to know is about the floodlight. This thing is super bright. Even at the lowest level at 1%, I found it to be too bright. So I wish it did have a even lower level or a way to turn off some of the LEDs. Also, with the night vision, you can actually see the LEDs, and there's a bunch of them. Now, the floodlight, it can go really bright at 100% or even brighter in boost mode, but understand that boost mode only lasts about 10 seconds before it gets reduced back down to about 100%. You did see a little bit of difference, but I didn't see a huge benefit in the boost mode. Now, you can set this floodlight to come on automatically when it detects motion. You can set the duration and also the light level all within the Eve app. So all in all, this is a great camera. This thing works exclusively with HomeKit, has HomeKit secure video, so you will need an iCloud account. So if you have Lady A or Alexa, unfortunately this camera is not for you. And the only 2 minor cons I have with it is, 1, you can't install it upside down because there's no way to turn the footage upside down inside the Eve app. Hopefully they'll listen to us and give us that option, even though the little weep hole in the mounting plate won't let water out, but that's not a major issue if you're installing this under an eave. You can also drill a little hole to let the water out if there's any water in there, so it's not a huge thing. So hopefully they will listen to us and give us that option. It echoes a little bit. My echo or your echo? You can hear yourself. Gotcha. Okay. But otherwise, this is a great camera. It's a 1080p camera, so it's not 2K. It's only 24 frames per second, and the audio worked out great. So no cons whatsoever with the everyday functionality. Of course, I would love 2K, but it's not supported by HomeKit. Now, added bonus, I did promise to show you how I have the light working or controlled by the physical switch, wired switch inside, but still keeping the camera on. So normally when you have a wired switch, when someone turns it off, either purposely or accidentally, it's going to shut down the camera. But if you have the right switch that's smart, you can actually keep the camera on, keep that load wire on, and within HomeKit you can automate that physical switch to control the light within HomeKit. And the way that I did this is with a LifeX switch, which is the only switch that I know of that can do this within HomeKit. Hopefully other manufacturers will listen and follow, because this is a great feature to have the load wire constantly on so no one can accidentally shut it off, but you can still control the light through automations. Now, of course, there is a delay because it's automation. I wish it was a little bit faster, but I did see it did take about 4 to 5 seconds for the light to come on once someone hit that switch on the inside. Now, to do this within the LifeX app, go into settings for that switch, click on wired settings, and you want to say that this is a LifeX bulb, but do not assign a LifeX bulb to it. Once you say that it's a LifeX bulb, go into the home app and assign the floodlight to be controlled by that switch. If you do accidentally assign a LifeX bulb, you will have to uninstall it and reinstall it, because it's now linked to that LifeX product and you can't take it off for whatever reason. So just remove it and then re-add it. I hope this little trick is helpful to you. I know a lot of people want to install the Eve outdoor camera where they already have a outdoor light, but that light's attached to a switch and guests and family members are going to accidentally turn it off. Obviously you can cover it up with a cover, but then you lose the ability to control the light. But with the LifeX switch, you can now have the camera on constantly and still be able to have a switch to control the light outside. Hope this video was helpful. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.